Hello everyone, my name is Tere Romances and today's video is going to be my September wrap-up. So in the month of September I read 9 books. So the first book I read this month was The Counterfeit Ghost by Oscar Wilde, and I gave this book 3 stars out of 5. I actually really enjoyed this book. I read this book in one sitting because it's a play, so it's very easy to read. So I decided to read this book because I wanted to start getting into the horror gothic Victorian atmosphere books, and since this book was a Victorian book I thought it was going to be kind of spooky, but it wasn't. It was like kind of a humorous book. They were trying to make jokes all the time. Like at the beginning it was kind of spooky, but then when the ghost appeared, I mean, it wasn't scary at all. It was actually it was supposed to be funny. So what this book is about an American family that moves to England, and they move to the Canterville house. In the house there's a ghost, and all the people around in the village, they say like, don't go to this house because there's a ghost in this house. And the Americans were like, we are American, we don't believe in ghosts, like we can go there. So when they get to the house they start seeing weird things, and it's because there's a ghost in the house. But they're not scared of the ghost whatsoever. They also have 2 little girls, and the girls are also not scared of the ghost. The next book I read is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I gave this book 3.5 stars out of 5. This book was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed reading this book. I actually saw the movie like 7 years ago, I think in 2012, the one directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and I really liked the movie. I think it was in black and white, and I just didn't know that the movie was actually a book. So this book is about a girl that we don't know her name through the entire story, and this girl takes care of an old lady, and then one day the 2 of them are in the south of England, I believe, and they're in a hotel, and in that hotel there's a man called Mr. Winterville, I think, and everyone knows him, and everyone knows that his wife just died. So the man and the girl end up getting married, and she moves with him to, oh no wait, the house is called Winterville, I think. So yeah, both of them move into Winterville, that is in the west coast of England, and it's next to the beach, and it's supposed to be this beautiful house, this huge house. So when the girl arrives to Winterville, she realizes that her husband hasn't really healed from his last wife, and the last wife was called Rebecca. That's why this book is called Rebecca. So the girl is kind of paranoid, thinking that her husband is still in love with Rebecca, and also the girl starts seeing Rebecca everywhere in the house, because also the housekeeper was pretty much obsessed with Rebecca. So the housekeeper pretty much hates the new girl. So the new girl has this thing where she thinks that her husband is still in love with Rebecca, the housekeeper hates her, and the house is pretty much haunted by Rebecca. Honestly, this book was pretty amazing. The ending was kind of very dramatic and theatrical for my taste, but I actually really liked it. And I just think that the entire book, the story is amazing. I really liked it. The third book I read this month was Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, and I gave this book 3 stars. So I haven't read that many books by Jane Austen, but I'm started to kind of go through all the books she wrote. The reason why I didn't really like this book was because the main girl, because she was very immature and very childish, and I just didn't really like that so much. So this book is about a girl that moves to Bath to start getting more into society and to start attending balls and parties and, you know, being with society basically. So when the girl arrives to society, she realizes that she doesn't know how to act basically when she's around other people, and there's just a lot of love interest and friends between friends, the typical Jane Austen thing. And also something else that's in this book that is kind of a theme for these books, some of them at least, is that the atmosphere of this book is kind of gothic, because the girl has a lot of imagination, so she just started imagining gothic elements in every situation she was in. So the next book I read is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I gave this book 2.5 stars. So I know a lot of people will probably be like, why did you give this book 2.5 stars? So I'm not the biggest contemporary fan. So if you've been watching my channel for the past few months, you will realize that I'm not the biggest contemporary fan. Like, I don't read contemporary books just because I don't really like them. So I thought I was going to like this one. I didn't really enjoy Daisy Jones and the Six either. I gave that book 2 stars. So I just decided to give this one a chance, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to stop reading contemporary books. and I really liked the beginning. After the first 100 pages I was like, I want to end this book already, like I don't want to keep reading it, and I pushed myself to keep reading it. So I'm not going to explain what this book is about because I feel like if you watch booktube you will already know what this book is about. So the next book I read was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, and I gave this book 5 stars because I'm never going to give a Harry Potter book less than 5 stars. So I have a lot to say about this book. Okay, hi, I know I keep changing location. It's because the lighting is not behaving today with me, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I won't have to move anymore. So after reading this book, I realized that the Harry Potter books and movies are not that similar. I always thought that the books and the movies were very similar. I still love the movies. I think the movies are very well done, as well as the books. The Harry Potter books are amazing. So there's so many storylines and characters as well that you don't see in the movies. Like for example, the storyline of Rita Skeeter becoming a bug. You don't see that in the movies. The entire elf liberation movement that Hermione starts, and also that Harry gives the money of the tournament to Fred and George, and thanks to that they can start inventing things for the store they create in the 6th book. You don't see that things in the movies, and I think they're kind of important. And also like the biggest thing is that Sirius actually comes to Hogwarts in this book, and also in the movies you don't really see Hermione helping Harry a lot, but in the books Hermione is helping Harry all the freaking time. Like she's always with him, helping him. And also Dobby is in Hogwarts in this book, and you don't see that in the movie, like I've said like a million times already. And there's so many things that I wish we could at least kind of seen in the movies, but they're not there. So I really liked this book. I just think there were so many details that made the book amazing, and the ending is so sad. I feel like this ending is kind of the start of the dark period in the Wizarding World. So the next book I read this month was The Disappearance of Stephanie Myler by Joel Dicker, and I sadly gave this book 1 star. If you saw my August wrap up, you will see that I said that I loved every single Joel Dicker book, and I have nothing against Joel Dicker, but it's just that all his books are the same, just with different characters. He loves writing something and not telling you what that thing is, and then 300 pages later he will tell you. I'm like, but I don't care anymore. His writing style is all the same, and I mean that's not something bad, it's just something that I'm kind of tired of. So all his books are about something that happened in the 90s is connected to something that's happening in the present right now. So for example, in this case, the girl called Stephanie is investigating something that happened in 1994. So after Stephanie disappears, there's 3 policemen that try to understand what happened. So it's kind of a flashback with the present all the time. And also something that I don't enjoy is that there are too many characters. The next book I read is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling, and I gave this book 5 stars. I read all the other books on my Kindle, and I love physical books. My Kindle is easy because it's cheaper and I also don't have that much space for books. But this one is from the library and I wish I could keep it because it's just so beautiful. It has so many pictures of animals, and I love this book so much. So Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is written by Newt Scamander. If you saw the movies, you will know that Eddie Redmayne actually was Newt Scamander in the movies. So this book tells you all the fantastic beasts and where to find them. So from A to Z, they tell you every single animal. So they tell you the name, the classification to know if they are dangerous or not, and also tell you like the description, the physical description, the things they can do, the things you can do with their eggs, with their skin, with their hair, like everything you can do for potions, for example. And they also tell you where to find them, like you can find them in the forest of Germany or in Africa, like different things. And I'm like, they tell you so many different stories, and there's so many footnotes telling you extra information. And also at the beginning there's a foreword by the author, by Newt Scamander, and he basically says that Dumbledore made me say that this book is all fiction for the Muggle people. These animals do not exist, don't worry. I don't know, funny, kind of funny. So the next book I read was The Pale Dreamer by Samantha Shannon, and I gave this book 3 stars. So this is a prequel for the Bone Season saga. I'm going to start doing the Bone Season read-along called The Bonathon. Don't ask me about the name, I didn't name it. So Ashley from Aphrodite Through Fiction is hosting the Bonathon, and since the fourth book in the saga is coming at the beginning of 2020, so I decided to read the prequel so I can kind of understand what the world is about, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. So it's set in 2054, I think, in London, and the main girl is a clairvoyant, so she has magic, she just doesn't really know how to use it, and she lives with other people that also have clairvoyant powers. So that's kind of the idea of the world they live in, and also the story. I obviously don't know what the Bone season is about, but I think I'm going to enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to that. And then the other book I read was Quidditch Through the Ages by J.K. Rowling, and I gave this book 4 stars. At the beginning of this book I saw that there were 2 more books. This one is Quidditch Through the Time, so I really enjoyed the entire idea behind the book, because I was really interested in knowing everything about the Quidditch world and how it started, and also all the other sports in the Wizarding world. But there were a lot of technical things I don't remember, like I could read them and then I would totally forget about them. So I forgot a huge part of this book, so I don't know, it was kind of bittersweet, I guess. But I still recommend to read it at least once if you really like the Harry Potter world, because you will enjoy it, I think. So right now I'm currently reading 3 books. These 3 books are part of my October TBR, that's why I decided to start reading them right now. I actually vlogged the last week of September in case you want to check out that vlog, because I talk about those 3 books. So those are the 9 books and a half that I read this month, the month of September. I really hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!